1,356 days and no sign of life. Today I'm going to talk about, of course, Washington, D.C., and the response that we're getting from them that has shifted this entire case. So that's very good news for us. And also, I wanted to talk a little bit about Thomas Hoffmann, the son of Alexander Gerhard Hoffmann, wrote a victim of the August 3rd, 2019 mass shooting. And there's just a lot of questions around that and around Thomas Hoffmann and how his role is connected in regards to Richard's case. So I think it's really important to try to put these pieces together for everybody. And let me make sure that I'm on. Of course. So last night it was pretty, it always gets pretty late at night. Here it is 11. I'm a little bit early. Yay. And what I did is I just filmed myself with a brief overview, explaining a brief overview of what we feel like Richard's case is. And I posted that on TikTok because this is a big case. It involves the Walmart mass shooting of August 3rd, 2019. It involves the border there between Texas and Chihuahua, Mexico. It involves criminal activity within our military installations that are unsecured, and everybody knows it because of all the crime that's happening, that they have to spend millions of dollars to change names of our military installations because of the amount of crime and dead bodies of soldiers, and it is really an indication of what the criminals do also. The criminals in this case have multiple names. A lot of them have multiple names, and they have something else in common that I don't know if I've discussed too much about, and that is bankruptcies. And some even have multiple bankruptcies, like they're like pros at declaring bankruptcy. And and then you have this commonality of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, many of them. That is, it's so much that you have to mention it, right? Because there is like a connection amongst these people in the church that they go to, or I don't know if they call it a church, they call it something else, their temple, or but this is definitely their congregation. This is something that is common with so many in this case. Also, the sex cult. The sex cult is also very common in this case. Many of the perpetrators, those that are have interfered with Richard's case, want to tamper with Richard's case, want to harass and everything. They seem to be part of this sex cult. That it's just very, very open, and they're pretty vile and vulgar. So, and another thing that is common is the nepotism. There's a lot of nepotism. And that is concerning because we're talking about the law enforcement community there in El Paso. And I'm sure that this problem is not isolated to El Paso, but Richard's case is Fort Bliss, El Paso, and the nepotism within Fort Bliss and El Paso law enforcement or those in uniform that have authority, because you put the uniform on and it automatically gives you a position of authority. And, so we have to be very, very careful who are allowed to wear the uniform, who are allowed to wear the vestments, who are allowed, that is very, very important, because, you put a white coat on somebody and it gives them an air of authority. And with that, we need the authority, right? Because otherwise our society could just break down in chaos. But we have to be very careful who we put in those positions of authority. And there's a real, real problem there in El Paso in the law enforcement community and on Fort Bliss. And so Thomas Hoffmann, uh, he's an interesting character, because he's the son of Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and Alexander Gerhard Hoffmann, wrote. And so we've learned, and he can correct me, but I understand in a family that is multicultural, um, that is a huge advantage for the most part, because you can um, learn so much from your parents. And one of the reasons why you learn so much is because you grow up with multiple languages. And so if you grow up with English and Spanish and German, you're doing pretty well because it comes very easy to learn those language. And with every language that you learn, you have um, a sense of uh, just information through the culture. And if you're bilingual, you understand what I'm saying. And it's just something you can't explain because words are defined many times through the culture. And, different words, even though you have to translate them, uh, the meaning is lost in translation. And I know this from speaking German and, this very particular culture that has some of the longest words because of their uh, a particular culture compounds words so that you have the meaning, the exact meaning. And so when you go to Germany, you'll see these really long words, and every noun is capitalized, which is also gives a certain emphasis to tangible items, right? Every noun is capitalized in the language. So there's meaning lost in translation. And so if you grow up with a Spanish um, speaking mother and a German speaking father, but you're going to school in the United States at UTEP, you're getting a pretty good education uh, because of the situation that you found yourself in. But when everything is kind of criminal, then you can use your education to make the world a worse place. And in our faith, in the Halliday family, uh, we were always like, uh, your job, no matter what job you do, the number one goal is to glorify God in everything you do, which means you need to make the world a better place. You need to make the world a better place. No matter what you do, no matter where you work, that's what you're supposed to do. Well, I don't think that was the case in the Hoffman's house. And I know that's a pretty bold statement, but we have evidence. We have evidence because Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and Thomas Hoffmann are related to Danae Katzen and with a shared residence of 3905 Bliss Avenue. Now, this connects clearly, and there's, the other connection. There's lots of connections with Richard's case with the Walmart mass shooting, but this is just one of them, and it is Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, her son, her family, and Danae Katzen with Tanya Katzen and Cesar Gonzalez. Um, you know, there is a connection there, and 3905 Bliss Avenue, 3705 Bliss Avenue is clearly a shared residence, and it connects more people because Belen Rocha is of course also connected to Danae Katzen, and I remember when I found out, and it was as clear as day, and I sent it in to Dirty Agent Marlon Soto. They're like, "Oh no, you're." Belen asked her dad if they're related, and he's like, "Oh no!" Just like when I talked to Belen's mother, Lydia Rocha, on the phone, and I've never heard of Richard's case. No, so they're very deceptive. They're very deceptive, and that connection is very, very clear. So they have that in common. And we know that Danae is very deceptive because we no sooner got to El Paso than she called us. She reached out to us. And this is, she's she is in connection to Thomas Hoffmann, in connection with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia, right? With Lydia Rocha, with Belen Rocha. And she is reaching out to us like she's just some stranger girl out there that knows where Richard is, that tells us tales about his credit card, that tells tales about Jonathan Slavitt, right? That Jonathan Slavitt is harassing her and following her around, stalking her, and has a gun in the back of his seat in his vehicle, and just this outrageous tale, and she's very smooth at doing it. It's not like you can just look at these people and tell if they are con artists or not, right? You have to, be very patient, listen to what they have to say, see what the reaction is, discern and scrutinize everything they say, and then time and those answers of the investigation come out and reveal what's going on. And absolutely, Dirty Marlon Soto knew what was going on about Danae, that Danae was absolutely a setup. She was absolutely a setup. And that it was all a staged effort to mislead us, to mislead the investigation, to mislead the search into the whereabouts of Richard. It's very, very clear. So, and since she is connected to Thomas Hoffmann also acted in deception to target our family, to target the investigation, to mislead the investigation, and also the investigation of the Walmart case. And tampering with evidence. They like to tamper with evidence and submit it like it's real. And, but you can tell when something is tampered with, for the most part. And in this case, you could. But he wasn't arrested, was he? So he submitted evidence that he had tampered with, or he had somebody tamper with to discredit a whistleblower, a key witness in our son's case. And so he acted really in the same deceptive way that Danae Katzen acted, and they are connected at 3905 Bliss Avenue, and with family, right? Their family. So not only did Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia target our family, and there's lots of ways, I'm just mentioning the ones that I'm at liberty to tell you, and Thomas Hoffmann targeted our family, and Danae Katzen targeted our family. Why? To mislead us, to discredit, to interfere in the search for Richard Halliday. And don't forget that 3905 Bliss Avenue is also in connection with the chief medical examiner, Mario Raskin Ortiz. And I think that's really, really jaw-dropping, because he is not an American citizen, which, my mom was an American citizen when she went to New Mexico. That's where she became an American citizen. So this is not any kind of slight on where he's come from and who he is and what citizenship he has. The point that we're making is that he's up to no good, because he is a judicial officer, appointed to a judicial office, being appointed to the chief medical examiner position. And that him not being an American citizen breaks the protection of the Texas Constitution. And I think that is really important to know, that they are tampering with evidence in a really bad way, and that they are misrepresenting who they are and taking on positions that break our laws, break our protection from our laws. And the reason why we have a Texas Constitution, the reason why we have a U.S. Constitution, the reason why we have UCMJs, the reason why we have the El Paso Police Department and the law enforcement community in the first place, is for protection. And yet they're making a mockery out of that. They're making a total mockery out of that, and using our law enforcement agencies as a tool to protect them from accountability of their crimes. And what Thomas Hoffmann did in tampering with evidence to target our whistleblower and key witness is nothing new for him. He has a history of tampering with documents, with official government documents. And it has reached into the jurisdiction of Germany now. So not only has he violated Mexican law and U.S. law, but also German law. And I think this is, thank God I speak German. and understand that I don't think they're going to take kindly to this. And what is it for? It's to collect benefits. And who do we hear that from? Who do we know that control people by controlling the military benefits, right? And so them being working in collaboration with the Harts, with James Hart, with Leilani Hart, and we know that there is nonsense going on with the 100% disability designations, and that James Courtney Hart works, in a very prominent position with access to files at the VA there on El Paso, on the health board for disability benefits for veterans. So the scams keep on scamming. The con jobs keep on doing a con job on the community, and also over there in Chihuahua, Mexico, the con jobs keep on going, and now it reaches into Germany. Across the waters, across the seas, it has reached the con job. And because, and you're asking maybe why has it reached over across the seas into Germany? Because Alexander Gerhard Hoffmann wrote is German. He's German, and Germany has, a very nice benefits package for people that are citizens. And, so this is really something that was being looked into by Yvonne Rosales. So the actions of Thomas Hoffmann and Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia was being looked into. And that connected Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia's actions, and there's more, to the El Paso Community Foundation. So the El Paso Community Foundation, who was in charge of one of the organizations that were in charge of collecting, keeping the monies that were donated and also given from the taxpayers, the office of the governor. They had control over it, and they had the job of designating vetting who are the victims of the Walmart mass shooting and what amount of money were they going to get. And Rosa Maria Valdez was designated as a recipient of tens of thousands of dollars, yet she wasn't even there, and she had divorced Alexander Gerhard Hoffmann in 2001, which clearly made her not a relative, clearly made her not eligible to get this money. But let's leave it up to the courts, right? That's just my opinion. And so, Yvonne Rosales, being the district attorney, being the institution that is supposed to look at these accusations, identify the crime, see if there is any crime, and identify the crime, document the crime, and then prosecute the crime, had an open investigation into the El Paso Community Foundation's distribution of the funds for the Walmart mass shooting victims. And as soon as that happened, it wasn't very long, a couple days, and Bob Moore was speaking on open social media forums on how to get rid of Yvonne Rosales. And, for a long time, that was, in our open records and what we know, that was a little confusing. But then deep, buried deep, never mentioned on El Paso Matters, never mentioned that they're owned by or an entity of the El Paso Community Foundation. Once you knew that they were connected, then it all made sense why Bob Moore immediately wanted to get rid of Yvonne Rosales after Yvonne Rosales opened up an investigation into the El Paso Community Foundation's distribution of Walmart money, right? Walmart funds to the victims there. So now going back to Hoffmann, because I mean, just think about that. They needed to get rid of her because of this investigation, but she was also wanting to bring forth the Walmart case to court, and also was looking into Richard's case. And it's just heartbreaking because as soon as Bill Hicks got in, that all was shut down and put into pieces as Loretta Lynn Hewitt. When Loretta Lynn Hewitt said the cases were in pieces and were not being brought forward, that's just heartbreaking, because we want the truth to come out, and it needs to be discussed. It needs to be investigated. It needs to come out, but they're in pieces, and now we receive confirmation that the unlawful conduct is now there's an open investigation. And that's really good news from Washington, D.C. Let's see what happens, right? Let's see. Because we don't meet the nepotism criteria. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We want to see the actions of accountability come, produce something. We want to see some accountability, and we want our son's remains. Going back to Thomas Hoffmann and his timing, the timing of everything was really, really important, because the timing was when Richard was when the public became aware that Richard was a whistleblower. Okay, that's when people started panicking, and when our key witness filed a complaint as a whistleblower himself, that's when things started really escalating as far as the harassment, the cyberbullying, and all of that. Just threats, everything, right? That's when it really started escalating. So before then, though, just to mislead us, was it Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia that said, "Hey, Danae, call up that Halliday family. What did they do behind the scenes? Hey, we've got to cover up our role in this forced disappearance and murder of Richard. You better go and mislead them or something," right? I mean, is that what happened? Because, did Dirty Marlon Soto call Danae up and say, "Hey, mislead this Halliday family. They're coming to El Paso. They won't stop. Jay Paulin tried to stop them," and I've never forgotten about Jay Paulin. Jay Paulin's name is really big in this. Just because I haven't mentioned him doesn't mean he's forgotten. He has a huge role in this, and he has a huge role in the crimes committed against Richard, a huge role. And so does Thomas Hoffmann, and so does Danae Katzen. And, uh, it's very, very clear because she came to us no sooner that we got to El Paso, she called. And what she told us was fabricated. It was a fabrication. There was no follow up on it. Marlon Soto had no interest in it. We had to pressure him, but he knew that there was, that this was a fabricated story. It was just to mislead us, to confuse us, to interfere in our son's investigation, to mess with our heartstrings. Also, these people are absolutely cold blooded. They're cold blooded. That their hearts are so stone hard that I have no problem saying that they are involved in the forced disappearance, murder, torture, dismemberment, and cover up of our son's remains and case. I have no problem because anybody that does what Danae Katzen did, and she didn't do it alone, okay? And she's a known, absolutely notorious for her con jobs, okay? For treating people badly. For treating people badly. Even people that are, I remember one of her victims was a cancer patient, and she treated a cancer patient badly. Her criminal record includes the bad treatment of horses, so it's not enough to treat people badly. She treats even helpless horses, domestic horses that depend on people, badly. This is just a very hard-hearted, callous, up to no good individual from a group. Because think about Tanea Katzen and Cesar Gonzalez, her parent, what's the other parent? Ortega. And Ortega. What is it? Ernesto. They send her out there to do this, or they find out that she did this and they don't contact us. They don't try to make things right. They allow her to be a con artist. They allow her because she's not that old. She's not that old. So this is clear. It's just like Belen. Her family allows her to, and you could say, oh, well, she has to, what did Belen say? I have to feed my own or take care of my own. No, there's other ways. There's other ways. And Lydia has the ability to help her daughter do things other ways, but they choose not to. They choose this sex cult world to take advantage of. They choose the con artist way. They choose hearts of stone. They choose it. And what they did to us, what they did to Richard, and why am I saying this out of anger? No, I'm saying this because what happened to Richard and the cover up, are they capable of doing that? Yes. Out of almost 4 years, they have proved that they are absolutely capable of such a horrendous crime. Are they capable of participating in a Walmart mass shooting? Yes. Covering it up? Yes. Are they capable? That's different from if they did it. But are they capable? Yes. Because any group of people that has done what they have done to us is cold-blooded, rock-hearted criminals. Absolute criminals. And I'm going to take it a step further. I believe, we believe, Team Fine Richard Halliday believes that KTSM, NBC, KTSM was part of it. And why do we believe that? Because Danae Katzen was orchestrated to come to us. The CID knew, her family knew, they knew, and KTSM knew. She suggested KTSM to meet there. KTSM, Menaceur rolled out the red carpet. I'm telling you, gave us hours. Had a studio set up for the interviews and never mentioned that they vetted Danae Katzen and she didn't cut the butter. She didn't make it because she, at that time, unknowing to us, was a total notorious con artist. And that's why they made her anonymous. That's why they blacked out her face, her voice, her name. She was very, very adamant about not getting her name out there because as soon as her name was released, we received, I think, nine witnesses to, and I posted it up, people can look at it themselves, of witnesses on her taking advantage, even a person that was suffering from cancer. I remember talking to that person. It was so sad. People with animals depending on her, people that have jobs with trying to make ends meet with selling cosmetics and the horses and all kinds of things. She would absolutely make deals and never pay and take money and never give the service and just con jobs. And there's so many of them. And she became a fugitive. Danae Katzen, fugitive, con artist, criminal, absolute criminal. Violations against helpless people, desperate parents looking for their missing son, young people trying to make ends meet in their own little personal jobs, doing con artist and harm to horses, and just all together up to no good in the community, making the community a worse place. And where's the parents? Where are the parents? Not only that, where's Marlon Soto? Too busy playing in the dirty mud because he's a dirty agent? Where is P.I. Phil Waters playing in the dirty mud with dirty agent Marlon Soto? Where is the FBI? Where is FBI supervisory Jesus Eddie Nieto Jr., knowing full well what's going on? Why hasn't he arrested Thomas Hoffmann? Why? I mean, why does he still have his visa? Because he's not an American citizen. Why does he still have his visa? Why isn't Danae charged? Why haven't they followed where all this leads to El Paso Community Foundation? Why isn't the intelligence there? Cynthia, Jesus' wife, Cynthia Hernandez, Marlon Soto Hernandez, Cynthia Hernandez Nieto, uh, who communicates with Bradford Bugado of the G3 of the 32nd ADCOM. Why isn't the Army contacting us, telling us what's going on? Why didn't the PAO contact us? Why didn't Nick No Finger or whatever, Nick No Heart, um, that is part of this criminal harassing, but absolutely part of the military. Why are they not contacting us? Why is there a cover up going on? Because clearly it is, and it reaches into KTSM. David Candelara, yeah, with, of course, Natasha Paloma, okay, who no longer works there because they were, I don't know, there was some kind of scandal of David Candelaria choosing, I guess, pedophiles over Natasha Paloma or whatever. I don't know. There's some kind of, that's just the rumor mill. But what's not a rumor is that KTSM has the money and the power and the manpower to know what's going on in El Paso. That's their job. And to vet Danae Katzen and to let us know and let the Army know, because before we ever talk to KTSM, or let's just say before a story was released, Natasha Paloma always had to say, well, we have to contact the Army. We have to contact that Sean Bernat, that dirty, get out of the uniform, Sean Bernabe. Get out of it. You are ruining our military. You're ruining our uniform. You're ruining our stars. You are just a betrayer up to no good, sold out, whatever you want to call it. Just, he needs to be arrested. He needs to be arrested. But she told us she had to call him and, the PA, discuss things with the military, their side of you. Well, why don't they tell us that Danae Katzen is connected to Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia of, August 3rd, 2019, DA investigating her and Thomas Hoffmann, 3905. They knew all of this. And KTSM is not innocent. They put out the story to, Jonathan's gun was in the back seat. Oh, gun, this kind of stuff, and to mislead us on Richard's case, to take us on a very hard-hearted goose chase, to just make our life even more miserable. That is KTSM. That's what KTSM did. That's what the Army did. That's what CID did. That's what El Paso Police Department did, and the FBI. And, these certain people, because do not tell me that the El Paso Police Department did not know who Danae Katzen is. She's a troublemaker. She has a long history. And El Paso is, very, very fond of their horses. And I don't think they take too kindly with those that abuse horses. I don't think they take too kindly of being abused themselves. And this was to mislead the entire community of what was going on in Richard Halliday's case. To distract them so that these people could commit murder, could commit theft, could commit forced disappearance, could commit immigration fraud, could commit all kinds of fraud and money laundering and all kinds of crimes. Now, is Rosa Maria Valdez capable? She's proven herself capable. Thomas Hoffmann has proven himself capable. Danae Katzen has proven herself capable and has a record to prove it. And what's really, who's going to have oversight? Well, it's supposed to be Veronica Escobar, but she has conflicts of interest with Mario Reskin Ortiz, the medical examiner. And they have total conflicts of interest with Angela Kachurga, which connects the conflicts of interest to UTEP. And how has UTEP responded to this? Yeah. Let's say they are not professional. Heather Wilson is not professional. She doesn't deserve her position. She doesn't deserve any position that is funded by taxpayers' money. None. Zero. Zip. I don't care what kind of CV she has. I don't care. That kind of response and those kinds of positions betray the entire community. And when you betray El Paso, you betray Juarez, Mexico. You betray the border. And you breach security, and who knows how many crimes happened that were unnecessary. But they happened because these people in position are criminals. So we have put in a criminal complaint against Thomas Hoffmann. Of course, we put in a complaint about Heather Wilson, and we will continue to put. There's so many complaints to put in, y'all. There's so many, and we will continue to keep going because we cannot have these hard, solid, rock-hearted people that are capable of this level of crime in taxpayer-funded positions or connected to taxpayer-funded positions. And, and in these law enforcement positions that can tamper, have access to files, have training that is paid by taxpayers' money to do this kind of criminal activity. Yeah, it's so just a quick brief of Richard's case. Richard joined the military from Korea. He went to basic training at Fort Sill. He was a distinguished honor graduate for his cycle in basic training and AIT. He wrote a letter from basic training to his grandparents, so excited, just with so many aspirations about serving his country and doing his best. He was stationed at El Paso. He saw the criminal activity. He told us that it was so bad that he didn't want anything to do with the military. He went 180, and we told him, okay, just keep your head down and do your time and get out. But he talked with Washington, D.C. He talked with FBI Houston. He reported wrongful, unlawful activity on Fort Bliss and beyond, to the CPS also, and the IG were all over the barracks because of Halliday. An audit started. We have confirmation of an audit uh, by three witnesses, or three insiders: Brigadier General David Stewart, Dirty Agent Marlon Soto, and Lieutenant General Sean Bernabe. All of them confirmed that there was a gun problem, and there was an audit before they arrived. They arrived. Not Marlon Soto. He was there. He was there, and yeah, he was upset that that was leaked out, but or the intelligence was given to us, that they communicated anything with us, everything was, you need to bring us information, you need to bring us the leads. um it it was, they invert everything. They invert. So there was an audit going on. We believe it was because of Richard's whistleblowing activities. There was desperation in it because, it hurt the gravy train, and they put together a diversion called the Walmart mass shooting. And how Alexander Gerhard Hoffmann got shot in the head, I don't know. Why? I don't know. But I have questions, because he was shot in the head. I have questions. I have questions because we can't trust the medical examiner, the chief medical examiner. We can't trust Ernest Chris Grant, because he's a total criminal, and he is connected. He's from Allen, Texas. Oh wow, Patrick Wood Crucius is also from Allen, Texas. Who else has connections in his family? Where is the nepotism in that Grant family? Because there's nepotism, and it's connected. And that all needs to be investigated. But we absolutely know that it wasn't a lone shooter, that it was not, absolutely not, this white supremacist MAGA thing that they're saying. No, this was a desperation to divert, to interfere in election, to make some money off of it, to control the El Pasoans, and to kill some, right? 23 were killed. How many of them El Pasoans? Some of them were from Chihuahua, Mexico, right? So this was to kill people, to divert. They are cold-blooded, rock-hearted individuals, and they will stop at nothing. And are they capable of murder? The Walmart mass shooting makes them capable of murder. And Glendon Oakley Jr. outs them by saying they were there with M4s, mall cops with M4s, and we have intelligence that there was brown tip bullets. And in the picture of Crucius coming in the door, how was that leaked out, right? How was that leaked out? Why was that leaked out? And where are the shells? Because remember, we have Memo Garcia dying outside in front of the door. And where are the shells? And Chris Grant, who cannot be trusted, but he did say, he was shooting outside. There was shooting outside. And there's plenty of witnesses of shots in the mall, shots outside, shots by multiple individuals wearing all black with black masks on, and the chief police is not here to ask because he's no longer living either. So this was not what the narrative that Chris Cuomo wanted you to believe, that that Beto O'Rourke wanted you to believe. This was really, really an assault on us, on the community, on us. And the information that we have is that all of a sudden Dallas Hart goes AWOL. We want to know Dallas Hart's part in all of this, because the next thing that's happening is the DA is Richard is reporting, Richard is set up, Richard is gone, disappeared, and the DA is looking into El Paso Community Foundation, and they take the DA out. They plot and scheme. And who's plotting and scheming? Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and Thomas Hoffmann's attorney, Justin Underwood. And also Alexander Hoffmann, the younger son. This is his attorney, which is very odd, right? So the attorney is plotting with El Paso Matters to unseat Yvonne Rosales because she's investigating in El Paso Community Foundation. They start weaponizing the tools that they have, the institutions that they have. Jesus Nieto is not arresting anybody. The generals are not using their PAO. Where's Allie Payne in all of this? Allie Payne went to Stars and Stripes at the beginning of all this to tell Stars and Stripes Richard was a drunk driver, when Richard had been exonerated, always maintained his innocence. It was a total setup. He looked so beautiful in that video. He was absolutely beautiful, compliant, everything in that video. And still being analyzed. Like it took so long for the Interpol pictures to be analyzed, but we finally Interpol took that picture down, that facial recognition matched with Dallas Hart and not Richard. Okay. We might release those pictures too from that. So, this was absolutely a collaboration of criminal activity with Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia involved in every area, Thomas Hoffmann involved, and Danae Katzen involved. And the protection of those that the nepotism, the connections of the family in the positions of these law enforcement that protected them, that gave them a blocking the investigation into the Walmart case, blocking the investigation into the El Paso police, the El Paso Community Foundation, the way the funds were distributed, and the poor baby that died at the Walmart with not the baby that died, the baby's parents that died, and the baby suffered broken bones from being fell on, didn't get anything. So this is how cold-blooded, hard-hearted these people are. And so what role does Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia have with El Paso Community Foundation? with the Burchett Foundation. What role do they have? And, why was their attorney plotting and scheming online in front of everybody with Bob Moore to bring in just the right attorney, Omar Carmona, to get rid of Yvonne Rosales, a duly elected first female district attorney of El Paso. I think that's huge too. And it really makes you understand why we've had to do this investigation over these almost 4 years, day in and day out, and why they weren't able to find Richard, right? Because they didn't want to find Richard. But we just received confirmation that protection, that blocking of scrutiny and accountability from the criminals that have